Hi, so I'm Suzanne Titkemeyer. Want to talk today about how things have changed in travel here in Costa Rica. I'm dressed for swimming, as you can see. I have my swimming suit on underneath my overdress. So I don't want to scare you guys. I'm all ready for it. I'm hair up because I don't like washing my hair every 5 minutes. Ready in my swimsuit, wanting to talk about the things that have changed about visiting Costa Rica. A lot of things have changed because of COVID. We haven't been reopened too long, just since like November, they started letting tourists come back. We started having tourism. I'm Suzanne Titkemeyer. I once wrote No Longer Quivering for Pathos for over 10 years. I'm writing a book right now called How Not to Move to Costa Rica with all the ideas about it, and it has changed just in the time I've been writing this. We've seen some changes. So today I want to talk about one of the big changes. If you're coming here on a tourist visa, they're requiring stuff that they've never required before. In the past, it was flash your passport, let them stamp it, and come right on in. Not quite so now. First of all, if you have to go to the United States, you're going to have to obtain a negative COVID test. That's if you're here as a tourist, even if you're here for a week. I would recommend the second you land here, find out who is giving those tests and schedule it then because um, with the large number of people going back and forth right now, what's happening with the test is they're scheduling them 3, 4, 5 days out. So if you're coming down for a week, you need to find the clinic that's doing it and scheduling it. I've seen prices on this. They run anywhere from $110, which is the cheapest one I found, all the way up to over 200. So per person. So you need to schedule it as soon as you get here. Um, Even here, not all the clinics are doing it. It's only a handful. So find out who's doing it. You can usually ask at the front desk of whatever hotel you're staying at or ask a local. They'll be able to tell you that. Hey, T King. So they'll tell you exactly which one you can go to for that. So, what happens before you get here? Well, they've put a bunch of new regulations in place. One of the newest ones is that you have to have insurance that will cover your medical costs if you get COVID and will cover additional hotel room or hospital stay or anything like that. Basically, they're wanting to know that you have insurance that will cover anything to do with COVID. And they're not accepting, like we have Blue Cross Blue Shield, Federal Employment Program. They're not accepting that, even though that would pay for all of that except for the room. They're insisting you get this special insurance. It's all inclusive. They're going to try to push you to take it through the Costa Rican government at INS or Sagacor. Don't do it. It'll be more expensive that way. What you'll need to do is go to trawickinternational.com. It runs about $80 a person if you do it that way. It's a lot cheaper. I've seen people paying it upwards of $250 when they're going through the local ones. The way that the I'm going to put a link to Trawick in the descriptions, but Trawick is TRAWICK international.com. It's going to be the cheapest insurance. Once you put in that you're going to Costa Rica, they'll put in the amount that you'll need. So you don't even have to worry about that. Good morning, Maria. The other sticky wicket of coming here is the Pase de Salud, the health pass, only available online. Again, I will put up a link to that. That's the salud.go.cr. Basically, what that is, it's just a silly form you have to fill out. Hey, JC Bills. It's a form you have to fill out online that you say, I'm healthy. I don't have a fever. I don't have a cough. I don't have any of those things. And I'm coming in. I have none of those things and I'm coming in is basically what they want to know from you. You just fill it on out. It's in English. Some of it's misspelled English, but it's English. Um, when you fill it out, one of the things they're going to want you to do is to upload a copy of that insurance I was just talking about that you can get from INS, Sagacor, Trawick International, or a bunch of other places. Um, they want you to have an internet copy. And if you buy from Trialwick, you'll have one. So you just need to upload it. Once you filled out the pass and swore up and down that you're not sick and that you have insurance that will cover you if you get sick here, it's going to generate a QR code. That was a little bit of a problem for me because I was staying at a hotel that had the world's crummiest internet. And I don't normally keep a QR reader on my cell phone. This is an old iPhone. I can't see having a newer one here because petty thievery is so rampant that if you have an older one like I have, you aren't, it's no one's going to steal it and say, it's an iPhone 7, 8, blah. No one will steal it. So I could not download a QR code reader onto my phone. So what I did was I took a picture on my cell phone and of the QR code, and that was plenty to get in. I did see there were a lot of older people that were coming back at the same time I did that had printed paper copies of the QR code. They were able to download it and print it. And that went through too. One of the things they'll be asked during the Pase de Salud is to upload that copy, and there's no way around that. That's why I'm talking about this now. Because I got surprised with that. I wasn't, and I was fumbling around saying, where do I have a copy of this? And if you come through and you have asthma or you have your allergies are going or whatever, take your meds before you go through customs, because they're looking for anybody coughing, feverish, sick, and they'll pull you out of line. I saw that happen as well. So make sure that you're properly medicated for that crap. I cough every single day, but I was not about to put that on the Pase de Salud because they would have prevented me from coming in. And asthma's just dumb like that. It doesn't mean anything. So that's pretty much all you need to know. When you come to Costa Rica, be it to Liberia or to San Jose, you're going to have to do a couple of different things. You're going to have to go through immigration first, which is where they'll stamp your passport. When you buy your insurance policy, make sure that it is for at least as long, if not longer, than the time you were planning on staying. We bought ours in a 90-day increment so that we could get passed for 90 days. They're going to base what they put for how long you're legally allowed to stay upon that insurance policy. If it's a 90-day policy, then you're golden. You can stay the entire 90 days. If you put on there that you only bought it for a week, guess what? They're just going to stamp your passport right on there, 7 days. That's it. So that's something real important to know. So when you go through immigration, that's what you have to know. Customs is still a weak joke. They've not changed that at all. Basically, the way customs works in Costa Rica now, you fill out no forms on customs, no nothing. You just pick up your suitcase, throw it on the rack, and they run it through. They run it through the thing where they look at them, the X-ray, and that's it. You're golden. You're good to go. For some reason, Costa Rica doesn't do much, and I gotta say also, America doesn't do much. Used to be when I first started coming here, when you came through customs, well, first if you came through immigration, that was no big deal. No big deal at all. Then you go through customs and it was a big deal. Sometimes they'd pull people out of line, maybe every 7th or 10th person, and search their suitcases, haul them off to a different side. Ask you questions. Make sure you didn't have local produce in your luggage. Now, nothing. America does nothing. In fact, I was really surprised to get here because usually what happens is when I open my suitcases where I have all the crap I bought in America, what happens is there's a nice little piece of paper sitting in there. I'd saved a couple of months of pulling up. It is from Homeland Security. I'm sorry, TSA, and it says on there, we have opened and searched your luggage for contraband. That's what it says. I have never come through where they haven't searched my luggage. Guess what? They didn't even bother to search my luggage. Even though I had strange things like clocks, I had a temperature gauge, I had, what all did I buy? underwear for both of us. All sorts of stuff, canned foods, the kind of stuff that we cannot buy here. My husband is in love with corned beef hash. I think that stuff tastes like dog food, but there were some cans of that in there. There were cans of soup that I can't get here and other stuff. They didn't touch it this time. So I think that's probably a good thing because nobody I know that's coming back here with their extra suitcases is muling anything in that's ridiculously forbidden. Nobody. So there's that. Now here's where they did get really crazy during the Trump years that they've backed off since too, was that immigration. One of the things that the Trump administration bought us was a lot more facial recognition things and a lot more getting hassled as you're going through the immigration part. Those guys were not playing. Now, this year, this time when I came through, now that Joe Biden, it was a lot more relaxed. Before, you would have to stand there for the facial recognition software to take a picture of you and try to match it up with your passport. I never really understood that. I never understood why it got like that. Before that, what they had was they had scanners. You'd come to the scanner, stick your passport in, scan your passport, would ask you some questions. It would take a picture of your face, and you'd be on your way. You wouldn't even have to talk to a human being. It was quick, it was fast. They've since disabled that because of COVID, but before that, it was disabled because of Trump. So I'm hoping they go back to that. That makes border crossings so much easier if you can just go get yourself scanned and get your ass through the door. I swear, we live in a wild world right now. I think COVID has really messed up a lot of the things about travel. So this is my rant about the things that is messed up about travel for here in Costa Rica. I don't know how long the Pase de Salud will be in place or how long the extra insurance will be in place, but I have a feeling it's probably going to be at least another 6 months, if not longer, which is kind of a drag because the insurance you have to buy for the Pase de Salud runs at the cheapest $80 a person. For my husband and I, do the math. It's 100 and it was a hundred and here I can't even do the math. $160. $160, and that's not counting the fact we had to get COVID tests to go back to the states. That was $115 each. Our airline ticket was nice and cheap. That was a good thing. Everything else was not. Our hotel room was cheap, but we got ripped off on the taxes and other things. We got charged a resort fee. We got charged a cleaning fee, which we're still fighting. So you really need to check all of those things. I've stayed at that particular hotel before, and usually their taxes and cleaning fees and things runs $14.57 a night. We got charged something more like $30 a night. Ridiculous, ridiculous. So we're still fighting it. We're going to go through that with our credit card company. So it's really worthwhile to watch every one of those bills. This was a super expensive trip that we made. That we were there only 5 days. I was not able to get a couple of things done that I wanted, like um, getting my birth certificate and my marriage license with the apostle sticker on the back. I was not able to do that because I found out that if I did that and then 3 months later my husband did it, it would invalidate our application all over again. So gotta check out all these realities of when you're traveling. Here's the strangest thing about traveling, I thought, besides the fact that I love Delta because they had it every other person. Every other person. I remember when traveling was something you did in your best clothes and they served you a beautiful meal and all that. It's not that way anymore. Now everybody travels in their underwear pretty much. I laugh about that and say, leggings, leggings, leggings. And they feed you, if you're lucky, a tiny little bag of goldfish crackers and maybe a granola bar. So we screwed up this time. Usually we pack food. Usually when we know we're traveling through a meal time, we will pack a meal to have on us. We screwed up this time. So by the time I got to New Orleans, I was like, I will eat the cardboard off that sign if you don't get me a meal. And the thing to keep in mind with all that crap was that also none of the restaurants are open, and the ones that were open that did takeout only closed at 9 o'clock. We rolled into our hotel about 10. So I ended up paying $3 for one of those Kraft macaroni and cheeses that you can microwave. Expensive trip. You have to be ready for any eventuality when you're traveling, particularly when you're traveling during a pandemic. I'm going to keep everybody updated about what to expect traveling to Costa Rica during a pandemic because, like I said, it has changed drastically in just a few months. At one point, Costa Rica was requiring you to have a valid COVID test to come in. So you were having to do the COVID test here and take another one before you left to get into the United States. That can really run up the cost of your trips when you're having to pay for all these little minor things. So if you plan to come to Costa Rica in the next 3 or 4 months, keep that in mind. Keep in mind it's $80 a head for the insurance, and you're going to have to pay a minimum of 115 a person for the COVID test to go back into the states. Okay, you guys, I'm going to go, and I'm going swimming. The pool's clean finally for the first time in a while, and I'm getting in it.